Hello, welcome to PodFic Galore. I'm your horrible online reader, Goldscythe. I read out loud fanfictions for you busy bees, free of charge and no strings attached. Today I will continue reading the Silmarillion / Lord of the Rings fic from Archive of Our Own by myself, called The Wraith of Himring. I hope you can at least try to enjoy my voice, and I will try my best for you with the equipment available to me. On with the show. The Wraith of Himring by Goldscythe. Chapter 8. A Wraith's Watch. Círdan looked over the building of the ships, one finished already on the waves, waiting for any elf wishing to sail before the winter. He looked to the sky and was worried. The autumn was late, and he had not heard anything from the Wanderer for a month now. He was usually passing by their borders around this time, and Gildor was often ready to take messages and provisions for him. But he had not seen nor heard anything, and Círdan himself had taken a few riding trips along the areas he had frequented. No hair nor hide. Nothing. He knew who it was. He pushed his hands into his sleeves to warm them. It was a chilly day. He did not particularly care for the Wanderer and looking after him, but there was someone else who would be worried to have no knowledge of his whereabouts. Elrond. He would undoubtedly send his sons if he knew. Maybe the twins and Glorfindel could find him. For nearly an age, he had heard the last son of Fëanor wandering, murmuring laments, seemingly lost in grief. He had met him himself once, on the shores opposite to Valinor. Care for the company of another ancient, wary elf? Círdan had asked as he approached the thin, dark-haired figure. Dull eyes looked up, and what he saw in them made him stagger back. He was barely alive. Something in his eyes had died, and with a startle, he realized the light of the trees was gone. A gaze of an elf with nothing left. He had seen his fair share of those, but there was something different in Maglor's eyes. "If you can sit with someone who has slain your kin," he had rasped, his once melodic, beautiful voice nothing but a memory. There was nothing but pain in his voice. "I believe it was out of your hands. I've heard what the oath did to you and your brothers. For my part, I forgive you." Maglor just inclined his head. Círdan sat next to him on the sand, just watching the sea in silence with him for a long time. "I can have you send provisions unless you wish to come live in... I bring death wherever I go. I'd rather not. Provisions would be much appreciated, though. I do not wish to burden Gildor." Círdan smiled. "I will see it done. Would you rather he brings them to you? I gather you two meet often enough." Maglor turned to look at him sharply. "He hasn't told me who you were. Only of a lonely wanderer. I figured out the rest after getting a glimpse of you near Tol Himling. Where else would you go but the fortress your brother built? Only a Fëanorian would stay near a Fëanorian keep." Maglor seemed placated and sighed. "Where are your blades? I see you only have one sword." "I left them." Círdan found it odd, but the anguish flashing across the sunken features had him worried. "Who did you lose?" The son of Fëanor did not reply for a long moment. "No, he took the shipwright by surprise. Please, are the rest of my kin alive? I know of Tuelpa's death, but..." Círdan looked at him for a moment. "Elrond lives." As he said nothing more, he saw the anguish growing like a cresting wave. "Morio's son?" "I believe you speak of Erestor, Elrond's chief counselor, his right hand. He lives with him." "How did you..." "He knew. Elrond knew." "And what of..." "Ereinion died by Sauron's hand. There are no more High Kings. Neither of them want the title. You are the eldest left, but Maedhros gave it away from your family line. There are none left. Elrond would have the rights, but he cares for it not. Uneasy lies the head that wears the crown. I'm starting to think that any elf claiming to be the High King of the Noldorin exile is bound to die. Violently." "There is wisdom in your words," Círdan admitted. He was seeing glimpses of something odd every time he looked at Maglor. He was blessed with foresight, and right now he was confused. Things he saw could not have been the future, but the past. Maglor's past. He saw red hair, blades, and red hair. I must ask again, who did you lose? Everyone. You were wed, that's what the rumors said. Not in Aman. Here. Maglor refused to answer to him, and after a long, companionable silence, Girdan bid him farewell. Turning round, he saw a messenger gull come toward him, holding a letter in his beak. Thank you. I think I saw some nice fishes over by that little cove. He pointed to the little makeshift cove just for the gulls to catch a quick snack. With a screech, the gull took off in that direction. Unfolding the letter, he frowned. This was not good. Gwyndor! Ready my ship. I need to visit a settlement towards Tol Himling. There are some issues I will see to personally. If Gwyndor was surprised, he hid it well. Of course, Master Girdan. Shall I take over here, should those wishing to sail arrive? Yes, you shall do that. I will take Galdor with me, along with a few others. Also, call for the 3 Noldor living here. They are of Gildor's company. It took 2 days for Girdan to sail to the settlement closest to Tol Himling, the villagers coming to the pier to greet him and helping to tie his ship. He had sailed with a few other sailors who remained by the ship as he was led to the nearest hut. In the kitchen sat 3 elven fishers, all of them looking very shaken still, even though the events had happened 2 days ago. Tell me everything, Girdan asked, not even bothering to greet them other than nodding, betraying his urgency. The 3 looked at each other, until motioning one of them to tell their tale. We had to take shelter in Tol Himling. We completely missed the warning signs and were caught in a storm. In the morning, we explored a little, even though we knew it was Himring, the old fortress of a kinslayer, one of them started. I had gotten up a little earlier and gone up on the ramparts. The Wraith surprised me and I fell, and then the ramparts started to crumble away. He pulled me to safety, and that's when Kaidar hit him. He went down, bleeding. He's an elf. We saw another one and just fled. Another one? He didn't speak. We just saw that he was tall and I don't know anything else. We got out of there. Fast. We heard wailing, like someone in serious pain. This was troubling news. Girdan himself had once sailed here before and seen the tall figure with long hair and billowing cloaks stand guard on the highest reaches, only to vanish in a moment. I don't blame you for running. I know the Wraith, and he is just a Wraith. But the other elf, did he have dark hair? The other 2 looked at Prathilion. He looked deep in thought, puzzled. Yes. But there was also coppery red and gold in that braid I saw. It was frazzled, like it hadn't been unraveled for ages. So was the other one just a ghost? I believe so, Girdan replied. The one your friend struck, however. He is one of the oldest elves alive, if he is still alive. He goes on that island on occasion. I need to go there. But Lord Girdan, he could be... He was dangerous once. He can still hold his own. But if he went down from a simple blow to the head, I fear he is in worse shape than he should. A friend of mine is coming to the haven soon, and he is more familiar with him. Maybe he can be saved. He was now more or less talking to himself and turned on his heels, going back to his ship and looking at the distant Tol Himling. The trio followed him. We sailed to Tol Himling. I believe the Wanderer could be stranded there and in need of help. We found an old boat shattered on the shore after the storm. No trace of a living being, Kaidar shouted after him. Girdan raised his hand as an acknowledgement of hearing the news. The island was dark and foreboding, but the seas around it were calm, Ulma himself probably calming the waves for him. They found a suitable place to disembark, one of the sailors following Girdan, up the paths and stairs, looking into the remaining rooms and trying to find anything. Oh, his companion, Galdor gasped, and Girdan turned around. Fresh blood. There was a bloody handprint on the doorframe to one of the fully intact rooms to the taller tower remains. He then could discern droplets from the stairs towards it. He took in the surroundings and carefully made his way towards the room. "Are you there? It's me, Noe," he called out and approached slowly. The room was filled with old songs and their influence. When his eyes adjusted, he gasped. In the center was a bed, and on it lay a body, uncorrupted, slumbering until the end of Arda. He knew who lay on it, on the bed of wilting flowers. He took cautious steps closer and gazed in wonder upon the body of a tall elf, once beautiful and terrifying, now just a scarred wreck. Is that... Yes, Maedhros. He was surprised. He had been said to have jumped into a fiery chasm, but here he was, unmarred by fire. Had Maglor's love for his brother been deeper than he thought? Now he had some explanation of the sightings of the Wraith, and of the long red hair some claimed to have seen. He felt the remains of Maedhros' fear within the very stones. He was everywhere. Didn't he... A sob from the corner caught their attention, and they turned to see a figure huddled in a corner, clutching an old sword. "I came to help you. I heard what happened," Girdan said softly. The figure dropped the sword with a clatter, bloodied, crippled hands lacking the strength to hold it. There was blood seemingly everywhere. He barely saw any bare skin in the light of the lantern still glowing in the room. He sensed Galdor's nervousness, but he himself smiled gently at the injured elf. "Magalaure, I'm here to help you. Please, let me help you." "Let me die here. I cannot leave him again," Maglor croaked. The room seemed to warm considerably, and Girdan looked around. Out of the corner of his eye, he saw Maedhros looking at them from the bed. He sought out Maglor's gaze, but it was locked towards the bed, where his brother lay. His lips were moving, forming Quenya words, but no sound came out. "He wouldn't want you to die like this," he whispered, reaching out to hold the thin elf by his shoulders. Kinslayer or not, his heart ached for the amount of grief this once great minstrel had been put through. It was the moment he wondered if, was this really the will of Ero, to torture one Fea this much? "Ero Ilúvatar, spare him from further heartbreak. He has suffered enough. Have mercy for him in your heart," Girdan prayed. The heat in the room seemed to concentrate and surround Maglor's body. It almost burned his face and hands, but he did not let go, in fear of the Noldo collapsing. Maglor cried out, shreds of power slipping into his voice. The heat evaporated and the lanterns went out with a great gust of wind. In the little light coming through the doorway, they saw the dark-haired Noldo collapse, and Girdan hurried to hold him so he didn't hit his head and do any more damage. "He wants you to live. Maedhros wants you to live. There is someone for you, waiting for you," the shipwright said, seeing an Eleth with red hair and twin blades, clad in green, a star upon her throat. "She's looking for you, without knowing it." Together with Galdor, he made it back to the ship with Maglor. He had made sure to pay his respects to the former High King and closed the door slowly. Without him and his brothers, the darkness would have won long ago. As he pulled the last rope in, he looked up to see the Wraith. Gone was the hood, flaming red hair flowing freely in the wind with his thick cloak. He looked at them, smiling slightly, and despite how it pulled his scars, the long-lost beauty in him was visible. "Are you going to keep watch until Arda remade?" he asked quietly. The spectre of Maedhros turned to look the southeast, the direction the Wraith was often seen watching. "You're not forced to. I pray for you." End of chapter 8. Stay tuned.